Now, most of us, when we're looking for skin cancer or thinking about skin cancer, we're looking for changes in moles, and rightly so, we should be doing this to look for melanoma. But actually, the most common types of skin cancers are non-melanoma skin cancers, and they don't show up in moles. So these might look pink. They may look fleshy coloured. They may bleed or crust over recurrently. So these are non-melanoma skin cancers. You may have heard of BCC, which is basal cell carcinoma, or SCC, which is squamous cell carcinoma. So the important thing to take from this is if you ever notice a skin lesion which doesn't heal or go away by itself like you would expect a spot to, for example, then it needs to be looked at by somebody trained in dermoscopy who can give you their opinion as to whether it might be a skin cancer or not. Now, these tend to be very, very treatable, but obviously, as with all things, the sooner you catch them, the more easily they're treated. So moving on to melanoma and checking our moles, obviously early detection is key. So let's run through that criteria which we talk about all the time, the A to E. So for A, we're looking for asymmetry. If you divide the mole in half, is it the same on both halves? B is for border. Is the border nice and even and round, or does it have notches in it? C is for colour. Is the colour nice and uniform? We like it to be all one colour. If there's other colours in it, then it needs to be looked at. D is for diameter. Is it greater than 6 millimeters in diameter? An easy way of thinking about this is it greater than the tip of a pencil? Sometimes though, if you're catching a melanoma really early, it may be smaller than 6 millimeters. So just think about, is this mole changing or growing? And that brings me lastly onto E, which is for evolution or expert. Is the mole evolving or changing? If the mole is changing, it needs to be looked at by an expert. Now, one thing I do want to stress right at the end here is some of you may have moles which fit that criteria. They may be asymmetrical, they may have irregular borders and different colours within them, and this might be normal for you. So some people have what we call atypical or dysplastic nevi, dysplastic moles, and these can be perfectly healthy, but it needs somebody's opinion, a dermatologist's opinion, just to make sure that they're not changing and becoming malignant or worrying. So look at this next picture and think about that A to E criteria. What do you think? So this is a prime example of something completely benign fitting that criteria. So yes, it's asymmetrical. Yes, it has an irregular border. It looks quite concerning, doesn't it? It's something called a seborrheic keratosis, which is completely harmless, very, very common, but this is why an expert opinion is so important.